There's this incredible, crazy rumor going around that Citizen Action Group is turning 50 years old this year. 50. Oh my God. Wow. It seems like only yesterday that I was driving around the state trying to raise seed money to get this dream off the ground. In fact, this was the proposal that we used, a 7-page proposal to form a public interest advocacy group with a full-time staff. We needed to raise seed money. How were we going to do that? Well, fortunately, there were people that listened to the idea and agreed with us that it was worth trying. The Gazette called it at the time a noble experiment. And we were able to raise money from Ned Chilton at the Gazette, from Jay and Sharon Rockefeller, Jay and Margaret Stern in Parkersburg, Betty Barrett in Huntington, Bill and Elsie Carter in Charleston, Paul Kaufman, and my former boss, Ralph Nader. They contributed the seed money that allowed us to start this incredible experiment. The first staff, me, Ed Light, Susan Kelly, I think if you would ask any one of us, how long do you think Citizen Action Group is going to last? We would have been hard pressed to say 5 months, a year, 5 years. But the idea that it would last 50 years was beyond belief. So, wow. And again, that's incredible. When I look back on my life, I think one of my proudest accomplishments was the fact that I was part of getting this organization started. But it's always been about the people. Our first board president was Sam Colvin. Other board presidents, Susan Kelly, Kate Long, Dave McMahon, Joe Buffa, Ron Shipley. There were so many. And staff, the staff that we've had. Our first legislative coordinator was Bonnie Brown, Perry Bryant, Norm Steenstra, Will Carter, Charlie Garler, Charlie Bachway, so many people, Adrian Worthy. The list goes on and on, all the way to the present with Gary Zuckett and Julie Archer and many others. Through the ups and downs, it's always been about the people who were dedicated to public interest advocacy and to social change in West Virginia. And it's so encouraging to see that it's made it this long. I guess my best memory, though, of Citizen Action Group was when I was working one night in 1981, and a young woman from Chicago, a Vista volunteer, walked in the office named Kate Dahlman. She eventually became my wife and changed me forever and for the better. So CAG has been an important part of my life, and I say, here's to the future. CAG, you've done it all.
I'm so happy to see CAG turn 50. The Citizen Action Group effort got underway with support from Nader and from great champions such as Ned Chilton at the Charleston Gazette and the generous support of Dave's parents, who owned the building in which we housed ourselves. My initial project was a study of equal employment opportunity in West Virginia, examining discrimination based on gender, which was a very interesting study. And we also had Campaign Clean Water underway, led by Ed Light. We had projects looking at absentee ownership of land in West Virginia and on deinstitutionalization of those who were mentally ill. Realizing that laws needed to change if we were to be successful in all of this work, we launched the People's Lobby with leaders such as Charles Bachway and Bonnie Brown, who went on to a successful career in the legislature. We sent volunteers into committee hearings to record what happened and connect citizens around the state to the legislative work. CAG
Hi, I'm John Barrett. I worked at CAG in the early 1990s. I first learned of CAG when my parents would get these newsy, enthusiastic fundraising letters from Dave Grubb. And a letter from Dave was the first time I'd ever seen a smiley face on a letter. Dave was using emojis before emojis even had a name. I was hired by CAG in 1990 to help organize a single payer healthcare campaign. And we did not fix the healthcare system at that time, but the people that I met had a huge impact on me. People like Florette Angel and Julie Pratt, Perry Bryant, Missy Wolverton, Norm Steenstra, and of course, Dave Grubb. Dave also gave me my first law job after I went to law school a few years later and has always been a tremendous mentor to me. So thanks, CAG, for taking a chance on a kid like me. There are a lot of us who can say that and are proud to call themselves CAG alums. And thanks, CAG, for having what Dave used to call in those great letters staying power to do the important work for consumers in West Virginia. So, talk about staying power 50 years. Congratulations, CAG.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Purbaugh, a former CAG board member from the 1980s. I worked as a legal aid lawyer throughout the state at that time prior to relocating to the Pacific Northwest in 1989. I have two distinct CAG memories. One is helping buy, maintain, and eventually junk a series of 1970s era 9-passenger station wagons that were used by canvassers. They always seemed to be breaking down and they ran pretty low to the ground, so they dragged a lot, but it was kind of fun to help out in that way. The other distinct memory I have is representing CAG in the West Virginia Supreme Court, arguing a case against Appalachian Power and the Public Service Commission together with David Grubb. Then as now, CAG is in both your neighborhood and your headlines. It's a great organization, and I'm thrilled to have been part of it so long ago. Best wishes for your 50th. Congrats to Dave and everyone involved. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name's Kate Long, and I worked with CAG in the 80s and the 90s, and it gave me a chance to do more than yell at the television for things I wanted to see happen in West Virginia. And we didn't just try to make a difference, we did. And one reason we could do that is we had lots of compadres. CAG has always partnered with other like minded organizations. And the question was always, who can we team up with? We worked with the Council of Senior West Virginians, the labor unions, the teachers, environmental groups, whoever wanted to get on board. And that's an important reason why CAG has lasted for 50 years. And with what we're facing now, working together is more important than ever. At that time, we concentrated on utility rates, an array of environmental problems, and funding for social services. And I lobbied for progressive taxes, wrote lots of press materials, and was board chair. My favorite memory might be the day the legislature passed an income tax revision that CAG proposed that raised rates on upper incomes and cut taxes for lower income families. I made lifelong friendships. You can too. There's no shortage of things to work on. West Virginia needs CAG, and in years to come, CAG needs you.
Hi, I'm Molly Mitchell. I want to congratulate the West Virginia Citizen Action Group on 50 years of making a difference for the people of West Virginia. I started working at West Virginia Citizen Action Group in 1982, right as I graduated from college, and they opened up a new office in Morgantown. It was a really exciting time. We were working on utility rate reform all across northern West Virginia, doing organizing, door-to-door canvassing. I learned so much. We were there at the very final day of the legislative session in the very final minute when that utility rate reform bill was passed. It was so exciting with the most amazing dance party afterward. And I look back at that time and think about how meaningful it was to me. And it was especially poignant just a couple years ago when I was able to return to Charleston with my son, who's now working for a regional climate organization, and organized an event with the West Virginia Citizen Action Group to put pressure on Joe Manchin to support the Inflation Reduction Act. So it just felt so full circle. And I just want to thank everybody in West Virginia Citizen Action Group for all the incredible work that you've done over these 50 years. You've saved lives. You've really made a difference for people throughout the state. And so grateful to have been one small part of that. Congratulations.
Hi, Charlie Garlow here. I'm a former staff person with West Virginia Citizen Action Group. I was fortunate enough to get to know Dave Grubb, who was a law school classmate of mine, and he got me a job with Ralph Nader for a few years. And then I returned to West Virginia, served in a number of capacities at Citizen Action Group. We did door to door canvassing to help raise our salaries and keep the ship afloat. Great campaigns on road bondage with Kate Long and others to tweak the nose of Governor Rockefeller. We had good efforts with Perry Bryant on health related policy issues. And I worked on acid rain in coalition with other environmental groups in West Virginia, Highlands Conservancy, Sierra Club, and others. We did a lot of good work. Um, I'm proud to have known all the citizens and citizen activists in the Citizen Action Group. And I hope that I see another 50 years of, well, maybe I'm not going to see it, but somebody will. And we will continue the good fight.
Wow, 50 years of CAG. Congratulations. That's quite an achievement. I am happy to and proud to have been a member of CAG back in the late 70s, early 80s as a canvasser. And so I remember having very good times going out fundraising in the evening with Adrian and Diet and all the people who we could get into a station wagon to hit the turf. It was a lot of fun. Uh, CAG has always been an important part of West Virginia's movement for social justice and economic reform and health care and you name it, utility rate reform, environmental work, um, all the good work that Perry used to do on the environmental issues. And anyway, I'm just very proud to have been a part of this organization, and I'm glad to see that it's continuing. Good luck with your 50th anniversary party. Good luck in the future, and I hope everyone is doing well. Bye.
Hi, I'm Dave McMahon. I'm recording from my retirement office outbuilding, still under construction, as you can see. And I have a long story with CAG. I met Dave Grubb when we were students at West Virginia Wesleyan. I went to D.C. to go to law school. When I came back to Charleston, David started the West Virginia Citizen Action Group, and it was going strong. I was even the board president at one point. Our big issues at first were utilities, and we were probably most successful by getting the consumer advocate section of the Public Service Commission enacted. Another issue was chemical plants. And in fact, one time I got on national network news because they came down because there'd been a chemical plant here. My favorite story is the chemical plants bragged that they had now sensors on the corners of their property so that if they had a leak and they could check weather, they would know exactly where the pollution bloom went and warn people there and not have to warn people anywhere else, except that the next time they had a leak, they didn't admit it for 3 days. Also works with the CAG on consumer issues, for example, as is used cars. Jim McNeely killed a bill many years ago on that issue, working with us. But of course, the thing nearest and dearest to my heart was surface owners, oil and gas issues when the driller shows up. And on that, I worked a lot with Julie Archer. We first formed the Oil and Gas Reform Coalition to stop this problem. Still can't figure out the left and right doing this. This problem of wells uh, taking too much right on surface owners and becoming abandoned when the drillers wouldn't do anything about it. Then that was particularly during the Arab oil embargo and other issues like that. And then along came the horizontal shale drilling. So we formed the Oil and Gas Reform Coalition, um, and the West Virginia Surface Owners Rights Organization is still a trade name, is a trade name of Citizen Action Group. And we did a lot of legislative advocacy on that, got surface owners got money to plug some wells, etc. And maybe most important of all, back to circle again with Dave Grubb. He and I won a case. Here's a Marcellus Shale horizontal well pad. He and I won the Crowder case, which is important because it says if you're a surface owner, yeah, maybe they could use you in the past to drill a vertical well to what's under you, take an acre, but they can no longer make these 15-acre well pads that would go down and go horizontally miles into neighboring mineral tracts. So long history with CAG. It has a wonderful history, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And congratulations to everybody that was involved.
Hello, my name is Perry Bryant, and it was my honor to be the executive director of Citizen Action Group back in the 1980s, a long time ago. And I want to congratulate CAG on their 50th anniversary celebration. 50 years of fighting for West Virginia's environment, 50 years for fighting for expanded health insurance, including reproductive rights for women, 50 years for fighting for our democracy. Frankly, we need the Citizen Action Group now more than ever. The last election results were a disaster. But I'm willing to dust myself off, get up off the mat, and get in the renewed effort to vigorously oppose President Trump's policies and Governor Morrissey's policies.
Hi, I'm Gary Zuckett, co-director of West Virginia Citizen Action. I've been at Citizen Action since the mid-1990s, and as a result, been a part of its broad legacy. And now I'm honored to be part of this 50th anniversary celebration. We're here today to lift up the progressive policies, community organizing, and coalition building that has been accomplished by Citizen Action over the past 50 years, and also look ahead to the next 50. We're also here to welcome our new generation of activists. You will be the ones to lead us in the next 50 years, and we appreciate you all showing up. We want to welcome everyone and thank you for your support, being here and showing up for the challenges we now have ahead of us. We're now in uncharted territory as a new administration comes into both our state and federal governments. However, if we hold together, return to our organizing roots, and continue speaking truth to power, we'll get through this current challenge together. Meanwhile, let's take the night off and celebrate. Thank you all.